If you think about Nickelodeon, chances are the first character that comes to mind is Spongebob Squarepants. Him and his lovable band of undersea friends have been an icon in the cartoon world for well over a decade now and show no signs of slowing down anytime soon. SpongeBob is Nickelodeon's longest running show of all time, having 11 seasons over 225 episodes to date, with a 12th season already being confirmed. But before all the success, the show almost never got off the ground. I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today I want to examine the origins of SpongeBob.
I'm ready.
To get a better grasp on the origins, we must first take a look at the person behind the show. Steven Hillenburg is the creator of the series along with its characters. He's actually a licensed marine biologist as well as a talented animator, so it's easy to see where he drew inspiration for Bikini Bottom and its inhabitants. Hillenburg actually first came up with the idea for SpongeBob while working as a teacher at the Orange County Marine Institute. He would draw comics for the institute to illustrate things he was trying to teach. The comic was called Untitled Zone, and it starred a very early version of SpongeBob.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Hillenburg's passion for animation eventually led him to a role as creative director on Rocko's Modern Life. On that program, Hillenburg became acquainted with the group of people who would become central to helping him realize his vision for SpongeBob. Among them, Derek Dremmond, Nick Jennings, and Tom Kenny. They all bought into Hillenburg's vision of SpongeBob as the eternal child who could see only the bright side of things. After this, things quickly developed after this core group decided to bring this vision to life. Derek Dremmond, who was the lead storyboard artist of the show from the inception all the way until 2004, remembers the early days before they even pitched the show to Nickelodeon, saying, quote, "It would have been 1996 or so. Steve wanted to develop a character who had a very young, boyish attitude and cited Jerry Lewis, Pee Wee Herman, and Stan Laurel as inspiration. The first time I went over there, we sat on his bed and watched The Office Boy. Steve talked all through it, pointing out things he liked about the character Jerry was playing. The scene that was the most SpongeBob-like in hindsight was the one where Jerry's boss gives him the task of putting out hundreds of folding chairs in a giant auditorium. It looks like it would take hours. The boss steps out for a minute, and when he walks back in, Jerry had magically filled the place with chairs.
12 Krabby Patties on wheat buns.
One dozen crying cows on the farm. Up!
Thanks, Farmer Brown.
Originally, SpongeBob was going to be named Sponge Boy, and his show was going to be called Sponge Boy Ahoy. However, that name was already trademarked by a mop of all things, so they made the change to SpongeBob. Hillenburg said they really wanted to keep Sponge in the name so kids wouldn't mistake the character for a block of cheese, and that Sponge Boy character from the original Untitled Zone comic was originally named Bob, so they just put the two together and the name SpongeBob stuck. Also, Patrick wasn't always going to be SpongeBob's friend neighbor. Hillenburg's first vision for a starfish character was an angry bar owner who had a chip on his shoulder because he was pink. He was even a bully to some degree. However, this was quickly scrapped in favor of a much more lovable oaf-like character that we now know today.
It'll keep your face from getting any uglier, just in time.
Eric Coleman, who was the vice president of animation development and production at Nickelodeon at the time, remembers the pitch that was given, saying, quote, "Steve actually went above and beyond. He gave a great presentation. He came in dressed in a Hawaiian shirt, and he had an aquarium with little versions of the characters inside. He had rigged up a seashell that when you held it up to your ear played Hawaiian music instead of ocean sounds. So he had a good amount of razzle-dazzle to make up an atmosphere that was fun. But that's not all what won the day. The show he pitched and had art that really caught our eye, and a character with such a funny personality. He was able to convey the sense of the show overall that just seemed really fun. In a pitch meeting like that, the goal is not for it to seem like the greatest thing ever. The goal is for it to seem interesting enough to develop it further. Not long after that pitch meeting, Nickelodeon decided to buy the show and greenlight a pilot episode. Work quickly began on that pilot, and Tom Kenny was chosen for the voice of SpongeBob, as he had been there to help develop the character from the beginning and had worked on Rocko's Modern Life with Hillenburg. Hillenburg then assembled an amazing staff, and in quite a hurry. Jay Lender, who became a writer and storyboard artist for the show, was working on Hey Arnold at the time, but was pulled away from that show to help with the pilot. He recalls the early days of developing the characters, saying, quote, "The first few months of any show are chaos. Nobody knows how to draw the characters, nobody knows how to write the characters. The pacing of the show is off. Everything is in flux. It's not until the shows start coming back and you watch them as a viewer, like anyone else would, that you really know what you've been making, and you suddenly say, aha, that's what the show is about." I'm pretty sure Plankton's tantrum in Valentine's Day from season 1 was supposed to be a one-time thing, but when the show came back, it felt so right that his dark side started popping up everywhere. You can plan ahead all you want, but the characters will eventually tell you who they are themselves.
You can't talk to my wife that way. What do you think this is?
I think it's time for you to lose some weight, fatty. That's what it is.
Hey, you can't talk to my grandson like that. Someone ought to put you in a mental hospital.
Someone should put you in a box floating down the river, Grandma.
Eventually, the pilot episode, Help Wanted, was finished and debuted after the Kids' Choice Awards in 1999 and was received incredibly well by audiences and critics alike. The show skyrocketed to the top of the charts and obviously went on to be a cultural phenomenon.
Firmly grasp it in your hand. Firmly grasp it. Firmly grasp it! That ought to do it.
SpongeBob has come a long way since the early days, seeing Hollywood movies, video games, and over $1 billion, with a B, dollars in merchandising sold. It's crazy to think that a vision from SpongeBob comic got so far and has left such a huge impression on the entire world. We may never see another show like SpongeBob again, which is why I wanted to take this look into the origins of it, to study how greatness was formed out of one man's vision. Anyway, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys did, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe for more videos in your sub boxes daily. Also, if you guys are into learning the origins of cartoons, then do yourself a favor and check out my buddy John Solo's channel and his amazing series on the messed up origin of Disney characters and princesses. It's incredibly dark and super mind-blowing. The episodes are absolutely amazing. Like I said, do yourself a favor, go check those out. There will be links to that and my videos in the end slate. But until next time, guys, remember that it is always K-Mac time somewhere. So until then, take it easy and peace out.
Guys, let's jump right in.